Hello, everybody. Pop Culture Curator here. So good to see you all. Welcome back. It's Tuesday evening, which means it's our horror sci-fi stream. And tonight, in celebration of my good friend Nemesis of Eden's birthday, we are going to be showing the movie Akira from 1988. If you have not seen the movie, actually, we were just talking backstage. If you have seen the movie or not, we highly recommend you watch it again. It's so in depth and thorough. It's 2 hours long, but it's a great movie. I just saw it today for the first time, but I definitely intend to go back and watch it because I want to go back and watch certain scenes over again. Don't worry about lack of plot there or slow pacing because the movie definitely moved along at a very quick pace. And I want to thank Nemesis for the great suggestion because it was a good choice. I know this is our stream is usually horror sci-fi, but this falls, I'd say, between sci-fi dystopian. So I'd say it definitely falls into the category that would make it admissible for our stream. We are going to try to keep the stream at a, I know this doesn't sound short, but a relatively quick pace, maybe 3 hours or so, it depends. It's not going to get totally out of hand where it's going to go on for 4 or 5 hours because I know there's a lot of people that have to work tomorrow. And plus, I don't have a lot of strength. I'm sure you can probably tell by the sound of my voice that I don't know if I'll be able to keep it up very long tonight with all the talking and the narrating and the hosting. So, Nemesis Beam will be doing most of that. I will be here, obviously, I am here on the panel as co host. But Nemesis knows this movie way more than I do. He's seen it several times. So he's going to be the expert tonight. Any questions you may have, direct them towards him. If they have any questions about the movie or any specifics about it, he'll know a lot more than I would. So first I'd like to say hello to my good friend Gorilla's Random Thoughts. How are you doing tonight, sir? Oh, Gorilla, you're muted.
I
Can you
think he
hear
might
me
be.
now?
Now we hear you.
Barely.
Can you? All right. It's been kind of a long day with with the weather and all that. I'm hoping people at least enjoyed the review I gave for Chill stream there. I know there's a couple people that in the chat that were like, "What the hell?"
Oh,
with
well,
that
I thought it
one.
was a great review. No, I thought it was fine.
Yeah, I found it humorous. I spent a couple weeks trying to think of what to say for the review for the Turbo True because I knew that's one I'd have fun with.
Right. Yeah, it was good.
Yeah,
And how are you
it's
doing tonight, Nemesis of Eden? How are you doing?
I am doing fantastic. Thank you to everybody in the chat for the birthday wishes. I'm happy you're all here. I'm happy, Pop, that you liked the movie. I'm always a little worried about my choices, but at the same time, this is an all-time classic. It's underrepresented in today's day and age. There isn't a film like it, to be quite honest. Like, I'm very happy that we're able to review it. And I'm glad to be here
Well,
with you and Gorilla and everyone in the chat.
well, it's a pleasure to have you here, and I enjoyed it. And I'm just gonna say, I'm glad it wasn't the Sound of Music. If you're a fan of Sound of Music out there, I'm not knocking it or anything, but no, I'd say it's pretty good. It's a lot of action. Like I said, great pacing. It's not boring. And whether you've seen it or not, I highly recommend you see it again. I'm sorry if we have any spoilers tonight, but hey, the movie's from 1988, so what are you gonna do, right? And of
and
course, go
the
ahead.
rule on spoilers that the rule for spoilers that ended at the 25-year mark.
Yeah, sometimes
Oh,
they even
dude,
have it
right?
sooner than that. Sometimes the movie may be newer than that. But if we cover it on this channel, you know that we're going to have to eventually get into spoiler territory. So they are unavoidable. It's up to you, each individual person, whether they've seen the movie or not. And I wanted to say hello and thank you so much for your patience to the people in the chat. I know you guys have been patiently waiting, and I really do appreciate that. I'm a little slow tonight, but we'll get moving, I promise. And we'll keep the pace up nice and brisk, and we'll keep you interested. And I know I have not put the poll out in the chat yet on grading the movie, but I will do that once we get the show on the road here. I'll get that poll up.
Well, if you want to I'll get the chat going if you want to get the poll up.
Okay, I wanted to explain also that we're going to be hosting this a little differently tonight. We're going to be hosting it using the Internet Movie Database. So I won't have as much control over which frames I show or video clips or anything like that. So on top of being worried about licensing, it might be a little disjointed for that reason. So hello to the chat. If you'd like, go ahead and start on that, Gorilla, and I will work on the poll.
All right, Nemesis, you can read this one.
Edge of Time says, "Oh, Canada, oh, Canada."
All right. See, glad to see you. I hope you're doing well, Edge of Time. And Nemesis says, "Hail, you beautiful beings. I hope you are doing well today. Don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe to Pop if you haven't already." And welcome, Suzanne Eckstein. Welcome. She says hello to Edge. And Nemesis, hello. And
Hey.
Take your red pills. That's
right.
Pop game for you. And Edge of Time says, "Hey, Suzanne, got a beer." And hey, Scurvy, how's it going? He goes, "Howdy."
Hello, Lemon.
Hey, Lemon. Hey, Suzanne.
Everybody's saying hi. And here you go, Nemesis.
Suzanne Eckstein says, "Happy birthday to me." Thank you, Suzanne. I really appreciate that.
Yeah. And Scurvy says, "Time to make all those dirty jokes you held back during the Lost in Space stream, folks." Yeah,
That's right.
Then they're not relevant.
Well, that's true.
I've been like that a couple times, but they wouldn't be relative here. And Suzanne
That's
said hello
fair.
to me. I said hello back. Nemesis.
Edge of Time says, "Birthday wishes for you, Nemesis," with a cake. And thank you so much, Edge of Time. I really appreciate that. Thank you so much for being here. And thanks to everyone. I appreciate it.
Now, Edge there. Is that the cake that has the candles that won't go out? Or is that just a regular old smash cake? That is the question. And here you go.
Lemon Pie says, "Happy birthday, Nemesis," with a cake. Thank you, Lemon. I appreciate it, buddy.
No, Nemesis or Scurvy here. He's gonna have the candles on don't blow out, and then after the third time, he's just gonna smash it in your face, and hopefully, it won't start a fire.
I hope not.
No, hopefully not.
Last thing I need.
Yeah, let's try to keep it safe.
Yeah, I remember we did that to our 5-year-old Marcus there. It was the funniest thing. I think it's time to do that to Corbin now. Hey, thank you all for the birthday wishes. Technically, it's on Thursday, but you all amazing at Scurvy Pie.
You sound tired, Gorilla.
Yeah, I am. Yeah, I ended up falling asleep in my recliner here. I got woken up at 3 o'clock in the morning to some very loud thunder. Amazing lightning that I couldn't get a video of, but it was some really loud thunder.
Wow, sounds like it.
I'd kind of like to experience it.
PvP's only at the 58-minute mark now. All right, come on, PvP, put it at 3x, 3x.
Yeah, bro, you literally got like a whole nother hour.
Yeah,
You
it's
got a
a,
whole
it's a
lot.
2-hour movie.
Yeah. And Suzanne saying hello to PvP, and PvP says, I know I'll be late. And welcome, RRTNZ. He says, wow, great choice. Back in the day, I
Hello.
collected a bunch of the comics until I couldn't afford it and saw the film. Enjoyable and disturbing.
All right, well, I'm glad you
Hello.
could join us.
Yes,
PvP
definitely glad you're here. Thank you so much, RR.
PvP says, back to the film. Suzanne saying hi, everybody. And welcome to the man of many words, Cody Guy.
Hello, Cody guy.
Hey, Cody guy.
Everybody say hi to each other. And Scurvy says the poll seems to ask yes or no.
I just fixed that. That was the old poll. I deleted it and I corrected it. Try refreshing your screen, everybody, and hopefully it'll show the correct poll.
Now, that says, Scurvy, yep, that's why I pushed yes, lol. And welcome, Hakeem. He goes, hello, everyone. Can't wait for you guys to review this one.
Hey, Hakeem. Glad you could be here.
Say hi.
Yeah, it's going to be fun tonight.
You're getting a birthday cake from Suzanne.
Yay! So much cake.
You're going to get fat there, Nemesis.
Bro, I know. My girlish figure is going to be gone. I mean, manly figure. Manly figure.
Hey, you can be whatever you want. Just don't push it on the rest of us. That's all we ask.
Fair enough.
And Scurvy says, Akeem, I want you to thank you for having me looking up Hakeem, I want to thank you for having me look up lemon garb. Unacceptable.
Lemon grab, and it's, oh god, I can't even do the voice. It's like really unacceptable. Oh yeah, I cannot go that high. It's from Adventure Time. He's quite the character.
Okay, I got you. And RRTNC says, many thanks for the sub, Suzanne. Currently, I'm hopping between a few streams while trying not to say anything stupid.
Well, it's all good. RR, say what you want. We're just happy to have you here. Thank you so much for showing up. We really appreciate it.
Yeah. And here you go. Yeah. Here you go, Nemesis.
Suzanne Eckstein has a happy face blowing the candles, a cracker, a red balloon, pinata, and cake. Yeah. Had to lean in for that one. I almost had to grab my glasses.
And here you go. Here's another one for you.
Okay. Lemon Pie says there will be no gun popping out of the cake. Oh, okay. Well, now that my guard's down, you can totally get me.
No, we'll just put a naked grandma in there for you.
Oh, okay.
And our DNC says, okay, someone has to do this. God! Yeah, no, you do this episode.
God,
hey, you picked this, so I think you do those things there. And
dude, for sure.
And Scurvy here says, all that cake will go right to Nemesis' thighs. And Suzanne,
dude, I will be able to get it through the door.
Yeah.
And as long as it's chocolate.
Yeah. And Suzanne says Nemesis needs to work off all those carbs, lol. Oh, you're going to have to make that big screen there, a big screen. Full screen.
Oh, I will. I'm not going to start yet until I'm the chat.
Okay. And welcome, Pickles,
also known as...
yeah. And welcome, Pickles, also known as LDG, hashtag free the net. All right, we're all caught up.
LDG, good to see you.
Hey, LDG, good to see you, buddy. Thanks for being here.
Hey, Pickles.
Let's try and do this without messing it up. How's that? Can you guys see that better?
Yeah, it's much better than it was, for sure.
I've got to look to see how to skip it. Maybe use my arrow.
Oh, on the bottom there.
That's only the back arrow, though. I don't know if you can skip forward really easily on this one. So this film...
There,
Sure.
just a sec.
Yeah.
Because I was able to do it on my phone. So let's do it this way. Just go ahead and start nemesis. I'll see if I can see what I can do.
Yeah, definitely. Okay, so this is Akira. The movie is set in a future dystopian year of 2019. So, I mean, we're already past it, thank goodness. Like, this is apparently happening in a parallel universe. But yeah, this is cited as one of the greatest sci-fi movies of one of the greatest films ever made, especially in the field of animation and science fiction. It's considered a landmark in Japanese animation. Up until this point, there hadn't been anything like it. There were 10 different studios that worked on this film, and you can tell. The film itself has a budget of about $5.7 million, and over the years, made back $49 million, so it did incredibly well. The director is Katsuhiro Ôtomo, and he directed not only the film, but he initially wrote the manga that it was inspired from, and that in itself is a very weird case. It started in 1982, they made the film in 1988, and they finished the manga in 1990, so they're almost two separate entities, and I definitely recommend checking out both. So as you can see here, just from the sheer detail alone, the drawings are done from anywhere from 12 frames per second to 24 frames per second, depending on the scene. This film is incredible. Like, if you just look at that shot alone of just the buildings, it's amazing. And there's so much detail. If you look at all the windows, if you look at the perspectives, the lighting, the coloration, it's beautiful. This film is gorgeous. One of just like a technical achievement and just an ultimate landmark.
Yeah, these cityscapes kind of remind me a little bit of Metropolis. I love that.
Yeah.
Let's take a look.
I do too. And it's got a very like Blade Runner-esque vibe to it too, with like where we'll get to see later with the holograms on top of the buildings. So what we see here is a bike chase happening between the two gangs, the clowns, which are kind of the antagonists-ish in the bike gang portion of this film, and we have our combatants. We have Tetsuo, we have Kaneda, and we have a few other characters who unfortunately don't really get a lot of time on screen in this film. They get a lot more depth in the manga. Definitely check it out. But as we can tell here, just from alone, just these frames here, it's incredible. So in the meantime, while we have this bike chase going on, we intercut to a scene of a man and a child running away. We're set in the dystopian town of Neo-Tokyo. And he's trying to make his way through. We have no idea who this little kid is just yet. But what ends up happening is he's being chased by guard dogs. So he ends up pulling out a gun, firing off, killing the dogs. And it does some pretty brutal graphics. Like there's one point where like the dude puts a bullet through the dog, and like you see a little kid looking through the window of a backseat of a car, and you see it just explode, and the kid's horrified. Like there's a lot of grotesque details in this film. Highly recommend it. Not just because of the grotesque details, but just like look at the shot here. Like it's just incredible. So this is all Neo-Tokyo. This is all built. What we didn't get to see at the very beginning of the film because we had to cut past it is there was a blast that happened that destroyed the original Tokyo. We're not sure what caused it at this point in the film. And so years later, this is Neo-Tokyo. It's been rebuilt. And in the midst of all of this, we have bike gangs, we have civil unrest. So right here, like this scene is amazing. Like, I don't know if we can view it or not, but boom! Like, you just get to see Buddy come out of the smoke, and Like, he's coughing, and one of the riot officers just hits him with a tear gas canister, and it's brutal. Like, there is police brutality. There's civil unrest going on right now. And as you can see, it's just violence. There's chaos going around. We don't really understand what's happening just as of yet, but...
Come on, move. I don't know what's going on with this thing, but I keep telling it to advance, and it won't. Click. Come on, do something.
Interesting.
I'm sorry.
I'm having trouble with getting to the link here that you have in your community tab. YouTube's giving me all kinds of problems.
So that's why I'm having issues as well. So maybe the problem is on the end of in the archive.
No, well, I'm on YouTube here trying to get to your community tab to get the link.
And YouTube is just being weird.
Come on. I thought it was odd, that little kid. It looked like, I thought, now, is that a little kid or is that an old man? So I thought it was
both.
Right there. I thought it was an interesting stylistic choice.
Right? And so this it's the shape and form of a little kid, except he's aged and decrepit like an old man. We see a tattoo on his hand called with the number 26 on it. We're not sure what that quite means yet. But what ended up happening is the dude who had the little kid ends up getting cornered by the police in front of a bunch of people. He pulls out a gun to fire at them, and they just open fire and annihilate the dude. And it's brutal. And the kid ends up screaming, unleashes a psychic blast. There's a bunch of destruction, and that's what causes all the chaos and pandemonium that we just saw. Meanwhile, now we have cut to the bike chase between Kaneda and Tetsuo and the clowns. And it's really fantastic. Definitely recommend going and watching this film.
So they established at the very beginning that this little kid is different, I guess, than most kids. He has some sort of powers, but we're not really sure what they are as of yet.
That is correct.
I'm speculating. But I'm trying not to give away too many spoilers.
No, it's all good. So what happened was, to get to this point where we are, Tetsuo, one of the main characters, was chasing the clowns and almost hit the little kid who was just somehow wandering in the middle of the street. And the kid uses his psychic powers as a shield, which in turn does something to Tetsuo. The military finds out, shows up, takes Tetsuo away, and have arrested the bike gang, and we are now led to this scene here, where they are being interrogated by basically the police. Uh-huh. And then what we don't see is there's an attempted suicide attack, a suicide bombing, and unfortunately for him, his bomb does not go off, and the dude gets the crap kicked out of him. Kaneda and the bike gang get let go. What we see here is the girl named Kei, who is part of the resistance movement, and he takes her along, weasels her out, and they're able to go. So meanwhile, we have now cut to these two gentlemen here. One of them is called Dr. Onishi, and the other one is the older gentleman, and then the taller gentleman is Colonel Shikishima. Now, for those of you who have watched Dragon Ball Z, you'll recognize the voice actor as the same as Tony Pope, who is the voice actor for Piccolo. So, fun little fact there. And so, once again, Piccolo is an alien character from Dragon Ball Z. He's back. Okay. He's amazing.
Got it. Thank you.
Yeah, of course. So, just one of the things that we get to really see and enjoy throughout this film is just little scenes like this, where it's just little slices of life. We get to see little aspects of these characters. This woman right here is Kaori. That is Tetsuo's girlfriend. And we can see what kind of a world they're living in, right? Like there's violence everywhere. There's crime. You can tell the areas are all run down. The school is overcrowded. We kind of missed that a little bit. So all of these kids are basically, I mean, they're hooligans, but they're products of their environment. And it's really interesting to just kind of see this interesting juxtaposition between what we would normally see and whatnot. So what we have here, luckily we were able to skip past the part with the boobs. Sorry, ladies and gentlemen. I know animated boobs are great, but if you want to see them, you're going to have to go and watch this film.
Right. Can't show it on my channel without getting stricken.
That is correct.
Wow, will animated boobs actually get you a strike?
I think so. I think they will. So that being said, ladies and gentlemen, it looks like we have 30 plus chats in the comment. Let's take a look at them.
Okay.
Relay if you could.
All right. RRTNC says, just saying, Kaori has really rough time in this film.
Oh, dude, I feel so bad for Kaori in this film. Like she gets shafted hard, and not in a good way.
Oh.
Yeah, it's brutal. Hakeem says, I love this starting sequence in movie and music. The only other anime I compare it to is the start of Ghost in the Shell, which, yeah, oddly enough, takes huge inspirations from this film. And yeah, that's one of the things that I would also like to bring up that Hakeem just mentioned. The intro music to the bike chase scene is incredible. It's a mix of traditional Japanese style music with 80s dark synth. So it creates this really unique environment where you can believe that it's traditionally set in Japan, but it's still in the future in this weird cyberpunk way, and it's really good. Like the soundtrack is 69 minutes long, which is nice, and I definitely recommend you listen to it. It's a fantastic soundtrack. All right, shall we carry on with the...
That's all the chats.
I was just meaning with the chats.
Thank you.
Was that all the chats?
Yeah, that was all the chats.
Oh, my Lanta. Okay, all right. So now what we have here is the generals and the doctor going to see Akira, which was basically... At this point, we just see it as a weapon. It's this crazy... It's built underneath the old Olympic Stadium in old Japan that survived. And so, once again, just the technology in this movie is fantastic. The drawings and everything that they incorporate is really fantastic. And one of the big motifs in this film is destruction. And one of the things that I really like about Japan is that there's almost, for this film especially, it's very cynical. There's a lot of man's meddling with stuff that he doesn't understand and shouldn't be playing with, and it comes back to bite them several times. And it's portrayed in only a way that the Japanese can understand it and portray it as people who survive getting nuked twice. They do have an interesting take on technology and how it interprets them and their world. So getting to this scene here, we have Kaneda and Kei came across this underground network group that Kei is a part of. She's part of basically a terrorist cell, and they're trying to provoke change. They are the ones, this group here, are the ones who in the beginning had grabbed the little kid and were trying to get him out before he ended up getting blown away and the kid was recaptured by the military. And so once again, like, just shots like that, where like you get to see this one building and we don't get to see it, but it zooms in and there's probably hundreds of floors in this one apartment tower alone. All these different windows, all of these different buildings are all seemingly occupied, and it's just a fantastic world itself. This scene is absolutely incredible. It's basically a nightmare sequence,
Yeah.
and it is fantastic.
Yeah, I loved it. He's basically hallucinating that these little toys came to life.
Yes. Yeah, and it's really cool. And one of the things that, unfortunately, because we're not able to actually physically watch this and get to see the 12 to 24 frames per second, the amount of sheer detail that goes into each shot is incredible. Like, it's nothing is a mistake. It's all done on purpose, and it's beautiful to just sit and watch. Even just like the collection of all of those bits that turns into the giant teddy bear. Beautiful, fantastic, just stunning level of technical drawing. And so now we're shown room A1, which is basically the baby room, is what they call to it. Hakeem says, when I first saw that scene, it freaked me out. And I agree, Hakeem. It was crazy. Where it goes from just seeing these little tiny wee things that are no bigger than your hand to basically full-on hallucinations where to Tetsuo, it's all real, right? Like, the ceilings are collapsing. These things are, like, literally destroying everything. He can feel pain. He can feel terror. And what we don't see is he's broken out of it by stepping on a piece of glass and it skewering into his foot, and he rips it out, and the blood is what scares, because they're all little kids. The aspects that we saw we got to see a picture of a little girl who looks like an old lady, a little boy in a suit who looks like an old man, and then the kid we saw from the beginning. And so here we have, we've missed a bunch, but Tetsuo has escaped from his room. And oh, dude, it's not your fault. Tetsuo has escaped from his room. It's getting dark. Tetsuo was starting to lose his mind. He's starting to understand the power that he wields. What we don't get to see is this scene where Tetsuo pastes these three people. They come to put him back into his room, two security guards and a lab technician, and he just kind of has a telepathic shockwave, and he obliterates them and sprays them against the wall, and they turn into goo, and he makes his way through the facility, killing everyone. And it's awesome. It's very terrifying. And so we have a big fight scene between Tetsuo and the three kids, ultimately culminating with Tetsuo escaping and being able to realize that he can teleport. So he has returned to the bar at the very beginning of the film and has killed the shop owner, and his friends have now come back. And this is a pretty poignant scene to me, because, like, the one gentleman there, I believe, oh my god, is it Ryu? I think his name's Ryu. No, it's Yamagata. My apologies. There's Yamagata and Kai. Or maybe it's so regardless, him and another gentleman go there, and they basically see that Tetsuo has lost his mind. He's a completely different person, has killed that guy, and ends up killing his friend, Yamagata.
I don't know why it's so disjointed, because as you guys can see here, I select a scene and I click on it, but it's not what we're actually getting on screen. So I do apologize for that.
It's okay, Pop. It's not your fault. Like, we just had some technical issues for this one.
This is why I tend to usually have the movie on hand, so I can have more control over the frames and what we're seeing. Like right here, if I say I want to see that scene, it's like, come on, go.
Interesting. Okay. Well, I'm not. Well, once again, that we're sorry, folks. We are having technical issues when it comes to that. But once again, I urge you, if you haven't seen this film, take 2 hours out of your life, go see it. This is before anime was received all of its tropes. This doesn't look like anime does today. It's very unique. It's got this. It comes from basically what was dubbed as the golden age of anime. Back when like films weren't and movies weren't made just to ultra niche people. This film was made for no one, therefore it's accessible by everyone.
Cool.
If that makes sense.
Yeah. Yeah, the artwork is amazing.
Oh, it's absolutely beautiful. Like even just in this shot here, where you can see the blood splatter, where you can see the graffiti, where you can see just all the dirt, just the grime running down on the concrete blocks. And meanwhile, basically what we didn't get to see in this scene is that the child, number 26, has appeared to Kaori, or to, Kei, I should say, and they are using her to guide Kaneda to where they need to go. And unfortunately, Kaneda is standing in filth and sewage. So, and unfortunately, yeah, so what we don't get to see is there's been, in between all of this, it's been shots of civil unrest. There's a literal military coup going on. There was a whole scene where the councils of the city are going around meeting. They try and strip the general of his power, and he leaves, and then he basically pulls a coup and arrests all of the members of parliament. And then, so now we have civil unrest. The military has been organized. They're trying to take on Tetsuo, and they can't. They're firing lasers at him, and he has psychic shields. He's able to just crush, like a tank's able to fire shells at it, and he can just like stop it with a shield and like crush it with his mind. He's able to like lift up and crush buildings with just lifting up the asphalt and flipping it and smashing people. He can destroy bridges. And so one of the scenes we missed, unfortunately, was the scene with Sol, the satellite laser, which was incredible. It's fantastic. Like, basically what happens is Kaneda and Tetsuo are fighting. Kaneda is basically dead set on trying to kill Tetsuo because he's lost his mind. And what happens is, in the midst of the fight, this giant blue glow seems to surround Tetsuo and Kaneda. And so, or no, it just surrounds Tetsuo, and it burns his arm off, and it's crazy. Like, the damage you see his flesh melting away, you see all these burns, you hear him screaming in agony, and then he like creates a psychic shield around him and Kaneda, and then Sol goes to fire again, and he teleports, or he leaps up and flies into space and uses his psychic powers to destroy, or to bring the satellite into Earth's orbit, so it just destroys itself. And it's absolutely breathtaking. It's incredible. Yeah, for sure. PvP says still got 20 minutes. Looks like you may be done before I join. Yeah, we might be PvP. And RRTNZ says, am I in time for Tetsuo? And yes, you are. And RRTNZ says, or TNZ, as I'm Canadian, says, have to say Kaneda isn't a great friend. Don't totally blame Tetsuo. And you know what? I don't either. It's a very weird relationship, right? Like, they're not. One of the things that we haven't gotten to see is that Tetsuo and Kaneda grew up in basically an orphanage together, and all the kids bullied Tetsuo and Kaneda stuck up for him. So he's basically been like a big brother the whole time, but Tetsuo is very upset because he feels weak and despondent, and that Kaneda is always there looking out for him, and it makes him weak. And that's one of the big driving arcs in this film, that Tetsuo gains the power, and then that power goes to his head. And unfortunately, we're missing one of the most awesome body transformation scenes in animated history so far, in my opinion. This scene where Tetsuo starts to change because the powers are, he can't control his powers, is one of the biggest things here. And just the sheer scale of this eldritch abomination that we get to see is incredible. Like, one of the things, and this scene here, poor Kaori, oh my god, right? So basically Tetsuo is growing, his cells are growing at an exponential rate. He has, in order to rebuild his arm, he has absorbed a bunch of scrap metal and rust and bits of flesh and whatnot, and it's corrupting him, and he can't control it. So he is now expanded into this basically huge cancerous growth of a being that has not only absorbed the Colonel at this point, it has absorbed Kaneda, and it is absorbing Kaori right here. And so here we have the the Colonel firing, trying to save himself, and what we don't get to see, right here. Like, just look at the sheer detail in this. Like, we got eyeballs up in the top right, we got his face, we got all the little hands, like all the little fingers that are crawling out and morphing out, and he's absorbing everyone. Like, it's like, and just even this, like, look at that, it's amazing. Dude's firing a gun, and then all of a sudden, like, just the flesh absorbs his arm, and a mouth opens up, and it's starting to eat him, and you're just like, oh my god, like, it's just, it's crazy. So basically, after all of this happens, Tetsuo, how do I put this? It gets a little abstract, to be honest. They end up meeting Akira, and Akira was the first test subject that was basically given ultimate power, and he, as a being, acted as a nuke. He's the one who destroyed the first Tokyo. And so what happened was they ended up dissecting Akira. What we don't get to see, or we get to see later on in the film, is like, it's grotesque and horrible, but oddly beautiful in the same way. They have all of these slides of him, part of his, like, one slide is his nervous system, one slide is his blood vessels, one slide is his brain, and it's just the full layout of this human and all of his different vessels and organs, all still collectively together, all still basically conscious underneath Neo Tokyo, and is being controlled and contained by all different manners of devices that we saw at the beginning when the Colonel went down there. And Tetsuo went there, ripped it all up, and brought out Akira. And so right here is what we're seeing is how Akira was made, how he went through all of the different tests, and how he basically became what he was. And we can see the kids here. They all have different psychic powers. They're making things move in jars. They're figuring stuff out. They're doing cards. It's interesting because basically they're a secret government project. And yeah, I'm kind of doing a pretty terrible job at explaining this. There's a lot that we've missed.
No, you're doing great. You're doing great. It's the slideshow that is severely lagging, and I apologize.
Then, Pop, it is not your fault, but this is technical issues. We've never done it on this website. I don't blame you at all. And what we get after all of this is one of the greatest scenes of destruction that I've ever seen animated ever. Like, this city destruction scene when Akira and Tetsuo unleash their full power and start destroying Neo Tokyo is incredible. The sheer amount of detail and power and helplessness that we see from all the characters, it's insane. Like, this is one of the most grandiose and magnificent scenes of destruction that I have ever seen like whether it be CG, 3D, or printed. This is incredible. The only thing that tops it is the manga. And now, this is the only part in the film that I have a problem with. It devolves into just straight. It's very abstract. This is Tetsuo. Tetsuo has basically transcended human form.
I didn't mean for it to go forward that much.
And that was the film. All right. Well, tell us what you thought.
Well, wait a minute. It's only been an hour.
Right. Yeah. So basically, we got to see an overview of all the different bits and pieces. Yeah, the ending is a little weird. Kaneda and Kai end up surviving. Kaori gets squished. You watch her explode inside of Tetsuo, and it's horrific. She dies. And most of the people in Neo Tokyo are dead. But, like, look at that. Like, just the sheer... Like, I keep saying detail, but, like... God, it's just incredible. Like, it's... You need to watch this film. Any description that I do is not going to do it justice. It just isn't. You need to see this just for the sheer technical display that's on display. The story can be a little convoluted, a little truncated, but basically... Yeah, what else do I say about this film? Like, it's...
I really apologize that the frames are out of order like this.
It's not your fault, Pop.
Well, I keep thinking I could have done better. I could have done better, darn. Well, I know one thing for sure. I won't be using Internet Archive anymore for my streaming.
No, certainly not for the streaming.
Well, it's okay to stream a movie, I guess, to clarify. But I won't use it to do a slideshow presentation like this. Because basically we have no control over the slides it shows. I can't even skip like 5 seconds, 10 seconds.
Yeah. Normally you'd be able to just
do that at all.
Yeah. So yeah, definitely if you guys are definitely watch it on Internet Archive. It works perfectly good. It does not work for trying to stream it like our purposes. You can't as far as I can tell, there's only a go back 10 seconds. There isn't a go forward 10 seconds.
Correct. Well, not only that, though, but when I select a scene, like, for example, let's say I want to see that scene right there. What's that?
I was going to say, select the scene and then hit play. And I think that's your problem.
Well, right here, if I select the scene and then I select it with my... There. It doesn't even go to the scene that I selected. Let me try something else. Like, let's say I say, okay, I want to go to this scene right here. I put my finger on the timeline and then I click go. And nothing happens. I'll say, okay, let's do it again. Go. Go to there. No, nothing. We move together a few more scenes. Okay, let me try this one. All right, let's go to this scene. Go. It doesn't let you do it. All it let me do is just push play like this, but then if I do this, we get a copyright strike.
That's fair. So yeah.
Excuses.
No. It is what it is, man. Like we just won't be using this again to do the slides. That's all. Regardless, everyone, you definitely need to, if you haven't seen it, which I'm sure most of you have who are here, definitely watch it. And it's even worth the rewatch. Like everything about this film, a lot of it still holds up today. A lot of the concepts still really hold up today. The animation holds up today. Like
It does. It's a great movie. I highly recommend it. I was never much of a fan of anime or manga per se, but I did enjoy this movie. I like the plot. I like the fact that the animation, the detail of it, and some scenes it did have 24 frames, which I do appreciate. I'm just not much into like Pokemon and that kind of stuff, but the sophisticated stuff.
I understand that, Pop, for sure, right? Like, this is one of the beautiful things about this film is that it's very adult. Like, it doesn't,
Right.
there's nothing kid
Sophisticated.
about it. Yes, sophisticated.
That's what I was trying to say before I got hit with a coughing fit. Sorry about that.
Yes, how dare you? My goodness. Oh, dude, it's all good. No, yeah, and see, to me, I grew up with anime. I didn't grow up with the stuff you grew up with, so this to me hits very home. And I didn't even grow up with this specifically. I saw Akira maybe 10 years ago for the first time, and it blew me away. Like, I grew up with 90s anime. I grew up with Pokemon, Gundam Wing, Dragon Ball Z, all of the stuff that was allowed to exist in the West is because of this film. The power that this film has can't be denied. It's one of the greatest animated pieces of media ever. It opened up the world to how good anime can be, because unfortunately it had a very antiquated look, and it wasn't very accessible outside of Japan. Whereas now, because of this film, it was so good that, like, well, I mean, yeah, I just don't think that anime would be the way it is if Akira hadn't been released in the West. I don't think we'd have anime in the West if it wasn't for Akira.
Well, right now too, it's also sales wise, it's outselling any American animation. American animation, all we're getting here, like the remakes of X-Men '97 and He-Man and all that stuff, is just outright failing because it's all so full of a message that nobody wants to watch it anymore.
Yeah.
At least with the anime and the manga that's coming through, you're getting a choice. Nobody wants to suffer through that garbage that they're putting out now.
Yeah, unfortunately. Mr. Gorilla, can you bring up some of these chats, bud?
Oh,
You're
shoot, I was
Gorilla?
muted. Yeah, you're asking an awful lot of me, Nemesis.
I'm sorry, bro. My bad. So, do you want to read it?
Tiatsu, because of the Lovecraftian monstrosity moral of the story, keep away from the pills, kids.
Yeah, oh yeah, stay away from the pills.
Yeah, then Edge Time says YouTube had errors all over, not just here. I can't vote in the poll, by the way, but I don't doubt you can do anything about it. No,
Well, that's
something's
not
up with.
cool.
I wonder if YouTube's getting hit with the DDS attack.
Oh, I don't know.
Or maybe my channel is getting hit with copyright strikes, and I just don't know it yet.
No, he's saying it's all over the place on YouTube, so there's something up with
Oh,
YouTube. So they could be getting hit with the DDS attack.
that's
And
I know it's possible. It's possible. I know it's possible, but it's a rare event. But I don't know. We'll probably never find out.
I know,
maybe
like,
if it's my internet, maybe my internet here at home. Because the
no,
fact that I'm hosting it here, maybe that's why it's out of sync.
oh, an Internet Archive, it could possibly be, because I've had that with the subtitles being 10 seconds off. And
Yeah, this is why I don't really like Go ahead.
No, I was just gonna read the next chat.
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, Heike says out of anyone, I think she's got it the worst. Being squashed and absorbed by your boyfriend is one hell of a way to go.
It is. It was brutal. I felt so bad for her. Just the scream when she gets fucking squished too. It's just like, oh god.
Yeah, yeah. And here, Heike says he confirmed it is on YouTube. Then, so yeah, there's something going on with YouTube. Either the servers are malfunctioning, or they're getting hit with the DDS attack. Which, with everything going on in the world, I wouldn't doubt it. And Jatai Hakeem and RRTNZ says the post transformation scenes were like something left over from Stanley Kubrick's 2001.
Well, that's an interesting way to put it.
Yeah, that's a really interesting way of putting it. RRTNZ. And he says, my friend, 70s, 80s anime rules. Robotech, Star Blazers, Grandazir.
Very cool.
All right, and that's all.
Yeah, I grew up with nice. Yeah, I grew up with 90s animes: Cowboy Bebop, Outlaw Star, Akira, Dragon Ball Z, Pokemon, Sailor Moon. You know, all that fun stuff.
What did you think about that recent Cowboy Bebop Netflix series that everybody was talking about?
Awful. If you want to see Cowboy Bebop, go and watch the original anime. It is so good. Like, still stands up to this day. Fantastic. Like, yeah, it's an incredible series.
That's what everybody was saying. They're talking about how bad it was, the remake.
Yeah, and unfortunately, the dude who played Spike, I can't remember, he's from Harold and Kumar, he really liked the series, and he tried his best. And they just, when you don't have a script or anything to work with, good acting only does so much. He was the only good thing about that film or that series, and even, unfortunately, he doesn't make it worth watching.
That's sad to say. I'm not a fan of the Harold and Kumar movies.
Yeah, they are what they are. Like, it's.
Well, some people
I'd rather watch. Yeah. Oh, for sure. It's not my cup of tea, but and I'm a stoner, but whatever.
So am I. I'd rather take Cheech and Chong over Harold and Kumar any day.
Straight up, or Half Baked with Dave Chappelle.
Yep. I think it's one of those guys from Harold and Kumar that's in that new Ghostbusters, I think. I don't know. I haven't seen that yet. I probably won't.
Hurry up, PvP. So, my goodness, man.
I've also seen Ghost in the Shell, and I enjoyed that as well. I saw that back in probably about 2005 or so, and I thought it was a really good movie. I especially like when they delve into horror, because they're really good at that with the detail, the blood, the organs, like we saw here with Akira. You can see that they have really good detail when it comes to body gore, and that I know it sounds sick, but I like that. That's sort of my bag.
No, totally. It's incredible. It's very well done, and it's tasteful too. It's not like it's not done just for everything's done on purpose.
Yes, I completely agree. And we're not going to see any good American serious animation anymore. Everything now is like, I don't know, like Minions and just super ultra juvenile. It seems to me like all the current animation is. They don't make good, sophisticated animation. It doesn't matter if it's comedy, horror, sci-fi. They just don't do it in America anymore. Everything is juvenile, and it's made for like prepubescent kids.
Well, and that's one of the things that even when this came out. Hey, BBP.
Hey, BBP.
Well, I just finished watching it a little while ago. You guys went through a 2-hour movie in record time, I gotta say. I was kind of hoping you'd be halfway through it by this point, because I got so confused watching this thing. I was hoping like to do some scene by scene with you guys and have Nemesis kind of explain some of this to me because I gotta say I enjoyed it, but man, I found it very confusing at times. Like I wasn't sure what the heck was going on. Uh,
And
'cause
that's it. We had
Yeah.
technical difficulties, unfortunately.
it was very complicated. Like there were a lot of layers to this film, and I enjoyed it, but I really wish that I had watched it. I didn't have to watch it now and show up late because I would have liked to have heard you guys scene by scene discussion on the film because I just don't know what to think of this one. It's a lot
Well,
of
that's why I'm glad.
plot.
That's why I'm glad Nemesis is here. He's the expert. And he could explain it a lot better than I could have, especially with the technical difficulties and me not being able to control the frame rate. So yeah, if you have any questions, Nemesis is the one to answer them.
Oh gosh, I don't know where to begin actually. As I say, it would have been nice to go, just watched you guys do this scene by scene thing because then I would have popped in with a question now and then. But
Yeah.
oh, it's like it's so much going on in this film. Like there's the total breakdown of society. It's like what, New Tokyo, I guess they said it was, after some kind
Yeah.
of atomic war or something, and it's all screwed up.
World War
And
Three.
yeah, and you've got all these factions, like you've got the street people and all those factions. You've got the biker gangs. You've got of course, you know, the powers that be, trying to control, things. You've got the scientist that wants to, figure out what this Akira thing is at all costs. He wants to push forward with his research, as often scientists do, not thinking of the bigger
Right. I'll be right
consequences
back. I'll
to
be right
society.
back.
Yeah, buddy.
Um, gosh, you got an interest in what was it, Canada?
Yeah, Canada. Yeah, you got it.
Yeah, I got the Canada jokes early on because I tuned in early when you guys started, just quickly and made a few comments, and that was like,
Yeah.
oh, Canada, that was good. uh,
Right?
I think he was my favorite character because he seemed to be. I mean, he was a bit disrespectful, as a friend, I thought, but he seemed to actually have his heart in the right place most of the time, and I kind of liked him as a character. Um,
Yes.
and what was the guy that power totally corrupted? Oh,
Tetsuo.
Tetsuo. Yeah, he seemed like a nice guy at first, but of course, power corrupts absolutely. I seem to be one of the main themes in this film. And boy, did he ever turn into an asshole after a while. Like, you know, I mean, I could understand that the power was basically influencing his decisions and he wasn't like thinking clearly, but I kind of started to feel sorry for all the, collateral damage that was going on around this guy through the film, right? And it was like
Yes.
I even felt sorry for like the cops, like, the military that were, basically just trying to do their job, follow the chain of command, take their orders and make their pay for the week, hopefully without getting slaughtered, which many of them did, unfortunately. But I
Hmm.
felt for those guys because they were probably mostly nice guys. They weren't evil by any means. They were just trying to, keep the peace or whatever, right? And I remember
Yes.
the one scene Nemesis with the guy in the tank and he's like, "We can't fire on him. He's just a kid or whatever, right?" And I thought that was a
Yeah.
great moment, of dialogue. So that kind of brought home that, it's everybody's kind of they've got their place, but they're all kind of victims in a way, mostly,
Yes.
in the film. And what was the guy, the corporal or whatever his name was, the guy that seemed to be
Oh. Yeah.
the guy with
Uh,
the
the
guy that was
Colonel.
the colonel. That's the guy.
Yeah.
Yeah, I kind of liked him too because he seemed to not really have a vested interest in taking any side. He was just trying to, keep things under control and work through what he was supposed to do, right? Because I think he said something. It's like, I'm here to make decisions or not make decisions, I think was the line. So
Yes.
so yeah, so he was obviously the type of guy that was trying to keep a level head all through this insane, situation that he was facing. So I kind of liked him. I mean, I'm not saying he might be the most, honorable character in the world, but he seemed like a guy that was just trying to do his job, basically. So I liked him. Uh, oh, I love this is the one scene that I was kind of back and forth early on because the movie is very chaotic. Obviously, an action movie, basically a lot of it, even though there are deeper themes, buried throughout it. But it was a lot of, especially the first part, it was like lots of action, bike chases, all kinds of, mayhem. And um, as that went on, I was like, okay, this is good. And then they brought those mutated kids in, and they were obviously a power force to be reckoned with. So that was interesting. But I think what started to really get me interested was about 50 something minutes in. There was the scene where, I can never, the guy that got the powers, like, I cannot remember his name.
Tetsuo.
Tetsuo. Oh, I'll probably never remember it, but
It's all good, buddy.
he had that hallucination. Well, I guess it turned out not to be in the hospital where the teddy bears and the toys came to life.
Yes.
And that freaked the hell out of me. And it freaked the hell out of me for a very good reason, because I had an experience like that when I was like 3 years old. I know it sounds crazy, but I was young enough to still be in a crib back in the first home that my mom brought me home from the hospital when she had me, and I was still in the crib. I was obviously a little kid. I think I might have been around 3. I'm just guessing because obviously my memories aren't too clear going back to that age. But I'll never forget, there was this creepy doll that my mother had in the corner of the room where my crib was in. And I'll never forget, one night I woke up in my crib and I rolled over and looked at the floor, and I swear this doll started walking towards my crib, right? Like, this is still clear in my mind, after all those years. And I was so frightened. I mean, I was probably just dreaming, right? Because I was a little kid. I was so scared. I climbed over the crib, landed on the floor. I ran out to the living room. It was not too far away, maybe 30 feet away, where my parents were watching TV. And I was just so freaked out. And they were like, "Whoa, what are you doing?" I think that was probably the first moment I actually became a toddler, because I don't remember ever walking before that. So I got to say, those crazed teddy bears and toy cars or whatever they were awesome. Like, that scene just freaked me out. That hit me home so heavy, because it was like having a personal experience when I was watching it, right? Because it was kind of, So, yeah, that was very, very.
Oh my goodness.
Very cool and very weird. I gotta say, very weird. Anyways.
Yeah.
Didn't mean to go on that long, but
Yeah, and I mean, I can totally understand where you're coming from, PvP, especially that is one of my biggest gripes about the movie. The whole thing about Akira is it started off as a 6-book series, and what we get with this movie is book 1 and book 6, and with the middle pieces kind of amalgamated into each other.
Oh.
So I can understand. So stuff that we get here that's only like a 30-second scene is expanded much more in the manga. And unfortunately, it's very bizarre because the manga itself was originated before this film, was continued on during the making of this film, and ended 2 years after the film was done. So it's kind of its own thing. So I can totally understand, like, for example, the Prophet, who we only get to see 2 or 3 scenes of. He's a big character in the film. And it kind of ties into more of, especially by the end, it's a grandiose story. It's not about Tetsuo, and it's not about Kaneda. It's about everyone and how everyone is affected versus throughout everything. Because what we don't get to see is, like, there's not a lot of time for the characters to breathe. There are lots of points where, like, we get the one scene where Kay, they're in the sewers, and the dude's about to shoot Kaneda, and she blasts him in the face and kills him. And you can tell it's the first time she's ever killed someone.
Right.
And
well,
just
she said stop or don't do that or something before she shot him.
Yeah, she said don't do it because he was going to shoot Kaneda, and so she shot him.
So she didn't want to kill him. She gave him a second, but it wasn't long enough time, right? Nemesis.
Yeah. Yeah, well, yeah, and then like there's a lot of emotional depth to these characters that we don't get to see, and I mean we do get to see some of it in the film, but it is much more expanded in the manga. Whereas like in between the moments of chaos and whatnot in the manga itself, there are just like pages, like just one full spread of page where it's just there's no dialogue, there's no nothing. It's just like people looking out over the city, or they're just having a bite to eat. There's a lot of character development and whatnot between all of the different characters, so at the end, when the grandiose destruction of all of Neo Tokyo happens, it impacts you on an emotional level that can't be portrayed in a 2-hour film.
Right.
If this movie was somehow made into like, I don't know, an 8-episode series,
miniseries. Yeah, it's a miniseries.
yeah.
Yeah, if they got
But
it well, if they got it right, but they'd probably screw it up nowadays, right?
well, therein lies another thing, right? They've been talking about doing a live action remake of Akira like 30 years, and there's been like there was already enough. There was a ton of like behind the scenes nonsense with this film itself. I'd have to do more research into it, unfortunately. But yeah, like it's
Yeah, I gotta say,
yeah.
I gotta say the manga sounds a lot more interesting and in depth because that was one of my problems with the film was it was just like go 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 action 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 action. You're just like you know, explosions explosions. Just kill this guy, kill that guy, kill a whole bunch of guys. Like I would have liked more breathers, a little more space, like you said, where you could see people actually like maybe having a meal and taking a break and eating and like living like actual people live. So that was
I
kind of a nitpick I have about the film.
For sure, and I can totally get that. We do get one scene that's like that between Kaori and Tetsuo where he shows up at her house after he's escaped the first time. And it's just a nice little interaction where you get to see just between them, and they're just it's sad to see that they're just kids in this crazy world that's just it's insane. Like there's a lot to this film. There's a lot of layers, like you were saying. It's really well done.
Yeah, I found the
Hey.
film quite disturbing actually.
Yeah.
Because of that.
Hey, I want to say welcome to Daniel's Hot Topics. Welcome, welcome.
Hello,
Hey Daniel.
Hello.
Good to see you there, Daniel.
But I did find that. Oh, sorry, Pop. Go ahead.
No, I was just going to ask Gorilla, how are you doing on the chat, sir?
We got a few of them here. Some guy named PvP says he'll be on soon, but too late, I guess.
Well, it was a little bit later than I wanted to be.
Rents here says Dave's not here, man.
Dave's not here, man. No, dude, it's me, Dave.
That's an old Cheech and Chong skit.
Yeah, we were talking about Cheech and Chong there for a second.
I used to actually have that LP back in the 70s. Oh, gosh. Memories.
Right. RRTNZ says, if anyone found it confusing, that's a good thing. Means they were paying attention. It's not a straightforward story. And I would agree, RRTNZ. I have to say it out correctly. It is not a straightforward story at all. But,
I agree with that 100%, yeah. Actually,
I'd encourage you.
I'm sorry.
Well, I was going to say that encourages you to watch it again.
Yes.
Yeah, probably one of these days I might actually do that. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, if you wanted to do like a watch party or something, PvP, I'd be more than willing to sit down with you, and we can actually sit down and discuss it scene by scene. Pause the movie if we need to, have discussions, that type of thing.
That might be an idea, actually, but probably not anytime soon because I got some stuff going on over the next while. But yeah, definitely something to put on the checklist somewhere, right, Nemesis? Yeah, I could go for that.
Yeah, the watch parties, those are better suited for like Cosme or something like that.
Yeah.
When we try to do it on the fly with YouTube like this, it doesn't seem to work for some reason.
Well, if I'd had time, to prepare and actually had, watched it a couple days ago, I would have been fine. But it's just with, my schedule's kind of changed this week with work, and I just kind of wanted to put in some longer hours today just to kind of get the work week over with, because I can actually condense it to a 3-day week now instead of 4 days, because I got a few hours cut. So, So I kind of want to go have a 4 day weekend because those are kind of nice. So
Okay,
Oh
but
God.
that's cool.
Oh no.
what?
What's the matter?
Okay, so
Okay.
since 2002, Warner Brothers acquired the rights to create a live-action remake of Akira as a seven-figure deal. The
Oh,
live-action remake has undergone several failed attempts to produce it, with at least 5 different directors and 10 different writers known to have been attached to it. By
Oh
2017, director Taika Waititi was named as the film's director for the live-action
no!
adaptation. Warner
Well, there you
Bros. Is
go.
scheduled the film for release on May 21st, 2021, and filming was planned to start in California in 2019. However, Warner Bros. Put the work on indefinite hold and has chosen to work on Thor and other shit. So I don't think
Well,
we're ever going to see
good.
a live action remake of this, and it probably is for the best.
Yeah,
Yeah,
maybe that's a
probably.
good thing. And that's probably why they're focusing on Matrix 4 instead, or 5, or whatever the hell it is.
I think it's 5. Yeah. Actually, I have a question about the female characters in the movie.
Yeah, what's
'Cause
up?
well, there seemed to be, definitely a couple of significant female characters, and there was not really a romantic interest. Probably wasn't time in the movie, as you said, so much was condensed. But it did seem like there was the one older female character that was it with Kanata. She had a sort of a kind of a relationship, a little bit like interaction. If I'm not completely
By
messing that up.
yeah, by the end for sure. He spent the whole movie trying to get with her.
Yeah, yeah.
Like
Which was
90% of his
kind of fun.
dialogue is just him trying to get into her pants. And she
Oh,
understood it. She's like, "You're just a skirt chaser, bro. I get you." And he's just like, "Oh, damn it."
yeah. I thought that was great fun, and I kind of wish they could have developed her more, but of course they couldn't because of the short running time. Is because they had to cut so much out, I guess. But I thought she was kind of a fun character, and but they kept her fairly basic right through the film it seemed, and then there was the younger one. I can't remember her name, but did she get
Calorie.
did she get killed at the end of the movie when she got like sucked into the big creature, like when he morphed into this huge thing? Like,
Yes. She got
yeah,
you hear her scream and you hear her bones crunch and then you see like a bunch of her blood just like burst out of the fold before it seems shut. Yeah, Tetsuo squishes her and he absorbs her and it's horrific.
yeah,
You're just like,
that's
Jesus. Yeah.
yeah, that's what I thought. Because when I saw all the blood, I was like, this is gross. Like, I didn't want her to die. She was, sweet and innocent. She didn't deserve that fate. But oh well,
No, she had it rough. She got punched in the face. She got her shirt ripped off. She gets
yeah,
absorbed. Gets treated
yeah.
like
Well,
shit by Tetsuo.
She had a
well,
horrible time. Yeah, I felt for her.
PvP, they're just pointing out in war, it's always the innocent there that suffer.
Well, I know. It's all about, I mean, how many thousands of, not hundreds of thousands of people died in this movie for crying out loud, right? That didn't
Oh,
deserve it. Like,
yeah.
it's insane. That's
Right?
what I
Well,
was thinking.
even just like even that first scene where they're sitting in the diner and like Buddy gets his head squished in because the motorbike crashes through the window and lands on top of him and you're just like, Jesus.
Yeah, it's not pretty. Like it's
Yeah, I
well,
like that.
it's kind of harsh, yeah, but it's kind of real, I guess.
I like that they were
Yeah.
soft about it. There were no holds barred. I enjoyed that part.
That's one thing I prefer about anime over a lot of Western animation because you ain't gonna see this stuff in a Disney movie anytime soon.
Well, and it's funny you should mention that PvP because like up at the time that this was made, like there were like in Western Western society, I guess, North America, it was released in the early 90s, I believe. The first screening of Akira came out, and during that time, we had like Five O Goes West and Don Bluth films and Disney, and then something like this comes around. Can you imagine being in that theater when it first got screened in
Oh,
America?
Yeah, I'm amazed they would even release it. Like that's pretty gutsy, I'd say. Because let's face it, a lot of North American audiences just don't deal with anything this kind of as harsh as this, like like realistically harsh as this
That's
movie
why the
is.
movies are boring, right? That's why they're all and cookie cutter. They're all like just copies of each other.
Oh yeah, that's a big part of it for sure, Pop. Yeah, yeah. You know,
No
I just got to say
originality.
though, yeah. Oh yeah, no courage basically, right? They just want to have
Right.
bland pablum to feed to the masses because basically we're just all so mindlessly stupid. We can't think for ourselves anymore, right? You know,
Yeah,
at least
imagine that, huh?
that's what they think, eh? Yeah.
Yeah. So, so we RRTNZ says, I live in New Zealand where Taika is a local hero, well, to some people, but he is the worst choice to direct Akira live action. Del Toro, maybe, or maybe John Watts. And I
Oh
think a
yeah,
Del
that's a good
Toro
idea.
would be crazy.
I could I could vote for Del Toro because I love the Hellboy movies, and I still to this day wish they'd actually let him do that third film because he kind of set it up at the end of the second one. He could have made an awesome third movie, and then of course they like got him out and made that horrible movie I don't want to mention, but
Well, and he's been trying to make a black and white 3D in the Mouth of Madness movie. That's probably never going to happen, but that's too bad. I mean, imagine an H.P. Lovecraftian movie that's black and white in 3D, and it's like
That'd be
that would be
amazing.
that
it
could be,
would. But
yeah, that could be.
he said he couldn't get the money raised. You figure he'd make enough, but I don't know. It's too expensive, and now 3D has fallen to the wayside, so that'll probably never happen.
Do you think
Well,
Del
I,
Toro
But,
is Del Toro
and
like?
like, you're talking about Into the Mountains of Madness, right?
Yeah, sorry, that's it. Yes, thank you.
Yeah, no worries, buddy.
well,
Yeah, and see, that one would be interesting because it's mostly just cyclopean imagery. Like, there's not a lot that, like, there's a lot of story that happens, but it's not told. It's told through like frescoes and stuff. So that would be, I don't know. That'd be a really interesting film. It'd be, I don't know. I'd definitely see it, but like,
A lot of people aren't
well,
familiar with it. I don't know if they would even know what it is when they advertised it.
well, Pop, the reason 3D went to the wayside there was because when people were putting on the glasses and watching 3D movies for long periods of time, they just started getting headaches and having massive problems because of it.
No, not with the good polarized 3D, but you've got to pay upwards of $20-$25 a good. Those are the ones that are at the IMAX.
Yeah, see, that's
So
the problem.
it's
People aren't going to pay that.
right, right. They're buying the cheaper 3D, which is giving them the headaches.
Yeah, see, if people are going to pay extra for something like that, they'll just say, "Screw it, I don't want to see it."
Right, it gives 3D a bad name, and then nobody wants to go see it,
Well, yeah,
and it's a
that
waste.
and if the subject matter is halfway obscure, if it's halfway obscure and then you add 3D onto the ticket cost, that's going to just sink the film like right away, right? So yeah.
yeah,
Yeah, right. What really ruined it is because they were taking a lot of movies that weren't made for 3D and they were converting them. And they looked really crappy. So that's one of the things that really didn't help either.
Hmm.
Like the Clash of the Titans is a good example. There was a lot of movies that weren't made for 3D, but they wanted that quick money grab, so they went and upscaled them and have converted them to a cheap version of a 3D. And they were blurry, they were out of focus. All these issues, people were getting headaches. And it ruined 3D once again. Greed, typical Hollywood.
Jumping on the bandwagon.
anyways, right? So Daniel's Hot Topic asks, was the movie good? Well, what are our opinions?
Oh
Yes, I think
gosh.
so, Daniel.
Yeah.
I recommend
Yeah.
it. And Daniel,
Yeah.
you like animated movies, so I say I definitely recommend it to you.
Yeah, definitely check it out, Daniel. This is one of my favorite movies of all time. Like it changed animation. Like there's just no denying it. Check this movie out. You have to watch the 2001 dub though, Daniel. Like, and for anyone else who's watching, you have to watch the 2001 dub. The 88 dub is almost unwatchable. A it's a butchering. Like it makes 90s voice like video game voice acting look professional. Like it's awful. It's unbearable. It's not even like cringe stock worthy. Like it's bad. So definitely watch the 2001 Pioneer dub and you'll have a great time.
Yeah. Hey, you promoted my Thursday stream there.
By the
Yeah,
way,
of course.
are we actually doing Master of Disguise this Thursday, Gorilla? Or
we should. We should. Should. I just can't stream on Wednesday this week.
oh, what happened to Wednesday? You are away.
I
I'm
have to go
assuming.
get. I have to go get my daughter and all that. And by the time I get home, I'm not gonna be and get her fed and all that stuff. I'm not gonna be. It'll be too late to even start streaming.
So you're talking daddy duties, basically. It sounds like.
Yep.
That's cool. No worries, man. Like, be a good dad. That's the main thing.
Yeah. Well, Wednesdays it doesn't really matter because it's usually just me and Germ and a couple people come into the chat there. But usually it's just me and Germ watching anyhow.
Mm,
But I'm gonna finish the series because I've been enjoying it.
right. So you are you not going to pop on for Gilligan tomorrow then, Gorilla? Like, is that still happening, Pop? Or
I don't even know if I'll have time to watch the
Yeah, it's up
episode
to
there.
Gorilla.
okay, just
Uh,
wondering.
If not, we can delay it for another time.
Yeah. Sorry, Papa. I just don't even know if I'll have time to watch it with the supervisor being gone this week. That I have a lot of extra stuff I have to do at work.
That's totally fine. You don't have to apologize.
Uh,
So,
Yeah,
do we want to go around the panel and give our ratings?
sure. What the heck? I'm still kind of undecided because I just finished watching it so recently, but I'll give it a go.
Well, I usually go clockwise. What about you, Gorilla? You ready to? You want to give it a grade or a review?
I am abstaining this week here for the plain simple fact I don't think it'd be fair for me to rate it because I was having anime. First of all, anime is not much of my thing there, as much as I love sci-fi and stuff. But I was also with everything with the weather, then with the kids and everything, and having the rushes there.
Distractions.
Yeah, distractions, everything. There, I was having. I'd have to. I have to sit down and actually get some time to myself and actually rewatch it to give it a fair grade.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, I was just the only reason I came up was to help you with the chat tonight.
And I do appreciate that.
Yep.
And
Yeah, dude.
Nemesis, I guess we can pretty much surmise what your grade would be, right? That be an A or an A plus?
Oh, definitely. Like, unfortunately, I can't give this movie like A plus or S ranking. The fact that it is very convoluted in the middle and at the end detracts from my score a little bit. But aside from that, like, the music in this movie is incredible. The soundtrack is incredible. The voice acting for the 2001 dub is fantastic. Everything that goes into this movie, the detail, everything, it's just breathtaking, mind-blowing. The body horror, the story, everything about this film is incredible, even to the point where like there's a term called the Akira slide, which is basically when Tetsuo comes and slides sideways, and there's the big angled shot of it, and it has been replicated for the last 30 years. There's entire slideshows on YouTube dedicated to it. It's fantastic. Like it showed up in Batman the Animated Series, Pokemon, X-Men Origins, Final Fantasy VII. Like it's all throughout media. Like definitely, please watch this film at least once. They don't make films like this anymore. This was all hand drawn. Like this isn't done with computers or anything like that, as far as I'm aware.
Thank goodness.
Please watch this film. Oh, dude, like it's any portion of this film can be taken out and could be could be taken out from this film and placed up on a wall. It's that good. Like, please watch this film at least once. You're doing yourself a disservice if you haven't. This is a solid A, almost leaning into A plus territory for me, except for just the fact that you can tell that there's a bigger story here that we're not getting, which is in the manga. And I definitely also push to go and check that out too, because it is just as beautiful, and it is directed and written by the same dude who wrote the movie, which is Katsuhiro Ôtomo. So definitely check him out. Fantastic.
Very cool. Very cool. Yeah, and I'm going to give it an A. I thought it was interesting. I thought it was very enjoyable, exciting. It wasn't boring. The animation was great. I'm glad that they weren't afraid to show certain things that they, like we mentioned earlier, that we would not have seen it come from an American-made movie. So they have the guts to show that, and it's a breath of fresh air. It makes everything unpredictable, where you never really know what to expect or what's going to happen. So, like I said, that it might be a little questionable at first when you first watch it. You're like, what's going on? But I think that's excellent because that encourages you to watch it again. And I feel so terrible that the streaming experience tonight, the slideshow experience, turned out the way it did. I feel really bad about that. I apologize for that, Nemesis.
Oh, buddy, it's not your fault. That we just learned that we can't use that website for streaming. It's all good. It just, once again, just encourages people to actually go and check out that film. And the website itself for watching is the best I've had so far. It's better than Soap Today or anything like that. Just not good for streaming, and not good for YouTube.
Yeah, Soap Today has not been very reliable lately. I get a lot of buffering on that one now.
Hmm.
So I don't know what's
Yeah, and I got
happening with that.
I don't know. I got no buffering on this one at least, and I've been able to find every movie I've checked out on Internet Archive in some form or another. So,
Oh, Pop, if you want to switch to go-tos, this website here is really good. Here, it has most stuff, but not everything like I can find on Sub Today.
Which
But I've
one?
been using this one here. You'll just have to go on the top, click the search bar, search for whatever you're looking for.
You're seeing this one here, but I don't know what you're looking at.
I put it in the private chat.
Oh,
It's
okay.
it's a look movie.
And
I was,
PvP did. Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Pop.
I was just gonna say, Gorilla. I wish you could send me just a list on Twitter of all the ones you use, one comprehensive list. Because like right now, I know you have it in the private chat, but when I end the stream, I'm gonna lose that,
Uh,
and I won't have any record of it.
okay. I'll
I'm still
do
trying to
that here in
track
a little
down.
bit.
I'm still
Actually,
trying to
yeah,
track. I'm
if
still
you wouldn't
trying to
mind,
track. Ah, fuck it.
Go ahead, Pop.
Oh.
All right. Well, Hakeem says it's a 9 out of 10 for me. And RRTNZ says, I saw Akira in the cinema in Toronto in 1989, I think, but had read the manga. Still disturbing. In my opinion, Del Toro is the man to adapt Lovecraft. Hellboy films have Lovecraftian elements already. 100%. Yeah, I've really enjoyed your input tonight, RRTNZ. I hope to see you in future streams. This has been fantastic. I agree with everything you've said so far. And I would also agree, Hakeem, that it is a 9 out of 10 at the very least. Like, this movie is incredible. Like, it is held up so well compared to, like, other movies. Even from its time. Like, it's just very happy about it. I definitely want to say thank you all for all the birthday wishes and everything. I really appreciate that, Pop. Thank you so much for having me here. Always a pleasure. Same with you, PvP, Gorilla. Thank you guys for showing up. I appreciate it. And thank you to everyone in the chat and anyone who's watching this on the rewatch. And if you've made it this far, you guys are awesome rock stars. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it.
yeah, I just want to say happy birthday, Nemesis. I didn't get a chance before.
No, thank you. Thank you.
And I didn't actually get a chance to give a rating on the film either because I got skipped over. So I'll give it an A minus because at first I was thinking around a B plus, but as I watched it more and more, I became more impressed with the quality of the film. So it's a good, solid movie that people should watch. So I'll give it an A minus.
Awesome. And thank you for watching it, PvP. I appreciate it.
No, I enjoyed it. Thanks for recommending Nemesis. It was a good film.
Yeah, I know anime is not everyone's thing. Like, I was a little hesitant, but at the same time, the quality of this film is maybe wanted to put it out for everyone because there aren't a lot of films like this. So I
Yeah.
figured at least it'd be one that we could just gape at the majesty of it.
Well, I'm a big fan of Miyazaki's Studio Ghibli films, Nemesis. I might have mentioned that before, because I think he's made a lot of really fantastic movies. I imagine you're familiar with those, hopefully.
Totally.
Yeah, yeah. So I definitely appreciate quality anime for sure.
Excellent. Is there anything else? RTNZ says, good stream, lads. Great film choice. Cheers. And thank you so much for being here. Appreciate it. How'd we do on the poll? It looks like, what grade would you give? Oh, Pop, you want to do that?
Sure. What grade? It looks like we got a good turnout. I want to thank you, everybody, if you voted. I appreciate your participation. And what grade would you give Akira? And it looks like a 42% gave it an A plus to A minus, 42% B plus to B minus, 14% gave it C plus to C minus, and 0 D or below. And I know a lot of that was because I've encouraged you guys before in the past when you vote in the poll to also vote on our coverage of it tonight, which Nemesis saved the night, because without him, I don't know what I would have done. The way the slideshow experience turned out, it was a complete disaster.
Yeah, no worries, buddy. It's a learning experience for all of us. Nobody's blaming you.
Well, I do feel bad though.
You shouldn't feel bad.
totally
You shouldn't
fine.
feel bad, Pop. You do your best. We understand that. You shouldn't feel bad. Please don't feel bad, Pop.
Well, still, I know that Nemesis really enjoyed the movie, and he really wanted to share his experience and his love for it. And I wish I wouldn't have let him down in that area.
Oh, it's all good, buddy. No. You watched it, Pop. You gave it a chance. That's what's most important to me. Like, I just wanted it to share it with everyone because, like, I really like this film. So I'm just happy that you've even watched it, buddy. Like, and once again, it just encourages people. You have to go and see this film, even if we were able to do it at like 2 seconds per slide. It still wouldn't do it justice, and then we would have been here for like 4.5 hours, and no one wants that either. So.
Right, so please watch it on your own. I highly recommend it. And if you get physical media, all the better. And remember, Nemesis pointed out that you want the Pioneer copy, because there's different versions and different edits of the movie. So he would know which one is the best one. So I would take his word for it.
Yes, definitely the Pioneer.
For those of you in the chat, is there any questions you might have regarding this movie for Nemesis while we have them here?
Yes, indeed. I shall try my best to answer any questions that you guys have about this film.
Does it have to be about this film?
I mean, this isn't an Ask Me Anything, bro. We'll do that when I get, like, I don't know, 1,000 subscribers or something. Maybe. I don't know. That's a scary concept to bring up. But one of the things that I definitely want to bring up that I don't think I mentioned was all the different arts, like not just art styles, but the techniques in this film. Like, there are lots of points where they're having psychic battles where the background will shimmer and shake, and there's overlays of like glass falling over top, and like just the illumination and the dust, and just there are so many. Once again, just the details in this film. If you haven't seen it, watch it.
So you said it was several studios that worked on it?
there were 10 studios that worked on this. Toho being the main one.
That's incredible.
And yeah, normally and when you think of like multi-studio films, you generally, it's either going to be amazing or a shit show. And well, as we saw,
yeah, you're right. Right, because there's always that chance that you could get a studio trying to interfere with it and just totally ruin it. So I'm glad that didn't happen. I think
me too.
Yeah, I think a lot of the reason why it didn't happen is because it was not an American movie. It seems like the American studios are the ones that tend to be really bad with interference and all of the other crap. They end up making the movie worse than what it could have been.
I agree, Pop. Well, and that's the problem with the 88 voice acting, because it's the Japanese voice acting, I'm sure, is amazing. I'm sure it's the original, I'm sure, is awesome. But they butchered it on the 80s version, and they've butchered so many voice acting for animes that have been brought over that it's almost like, I don't want to say deliberate sabotage, but like, yeah, it's like you said, they've ruined it time and time again. So like, I'm very thankful that the 2001 dub exists.
That's too bad. And I know it's out there. If you do the high seas, it is out there. I tried to pull it, but I just didn't get it in time, which I'm blaming myself. That is totally my fault. So now I have it. Now there it is. I got a 2.14 gigabyte size version. I don't know if it's a Pioneer version. It just says Akira 1988 20th Anniversary Edition, 1080p Blu-ray.
Ooh, and 1080p, dude, that's going to be awesome.
Yes, I'm going to watch that. Well, I'm sure there's probably 4K versions out there now. That would look amazing in 4K.
Dude.
I need to invest into it. Before I can invest into 4K, I need to invest into a television first. See what technology is changing so quickly.
I feel you on that one, buddy. I genuinely do. Oh, we have a question, and it looks like Hakeem says, great stream, Pop, and you did an awesome job going over the film Nemesis. Thank you, Hakeem, and thank you for being here. I appreciate it, buddy.
It's very kind of you, Hakeem, and yes, he did do a great job.
Thank you. I appreciate it, Pop. RRTNZ says, question, other than its length, you need a film or TV series to tell the whole story. What do you think the most significant change is between the manga and the animated film? Oh, that's a fantastic question, RRTNZ. I'm going to give you a 100% honest answer. I haven't read the manga, and I don't know. I have only, in going over research for the film, I've seen bits and pieces, other people's takes on it. I couldn't give you a genuine answer as to what's the most significant change is. I don't know. I will instead deflect the question to you, since you seem very knowledgeable about this, and you've not only read the manga, but you got to see it in theaters in the 80s. What do you think is the biggest change between the manga and the animated film? I would love to hear your answer to that.
So would I, because I didn't read it at all, so I'd love to hear the answer to that as well.
Yeah, because like looking at it, it's on the list of physical manga that I would like to own, and I don't. I'm sure there is a manga site out there that I could just read it for free on. I just need to check that out. I think you can do it on Crunchyroll, but you have to pay for that. But that might be an investment.
It might be on the high seas.
Ooh, very well could be.
Yeah. Because I know they have manga. You can download comic books, manga, all that kind of stuff off the high seas. And they have readers that you can download and port them over and then read them that way. That's how I got my Mad magazine.
Okay. Yeah, because I know there's at least, I've seen two different versions. I've seen the black and white manga, and then there's a colorized version, which is absolutely gorgeous as well. And I want to read both, to be quite honest. Like, I am so intrigued by this film and all the points in it that I want to know what happens in the middle. I want to know what happens to the rest of the characters. I want to see what they expand on. I want to see what happens, because I know it's not just Tetsuo and Kaneda, Kaori and Kai. And then there's the little dude with the tie, and I keep forgetting his name. And I genuinely like that character, and I feel really bad. He provided a lot of comic relief, but a lot of humanity too. He was like really shaken up about the death of Yamagata when he watched his Tetsuo kill him. And we don't get to see that, and I'm sure we do get to see that in the manga, but we might not. But once again, it's going to make me want to read the manga, because once again, this is just... It's an incredible film. There's so many different layers to it, and a lot of it still is incredibly relevant today with just social change, the way the government works, the secrets that people have, not only between each other, but like the government and its people, the underestimation and overuse and abuse of power, the quest for scientific knowledge. Like, so much of this film is still applicable today and is only getting more applicable. Stands to show the test of time that I think it's going to stand.
If I may interject for a minute, Nemesis, all the things you just met, can you hear me? Am I on?
Yep.
Okay. I just wanted to say everything you just said, I 100% agree with. Like, that's one of the things, I mean, I didn't get to mention it in my review because I wanted to keep it brief, but all the things you said about abuse of power, the way science sometimes, put knowledge above common sense, the way the civil rights can be taken away from us. It was like a society in chaos, and I know thank goodness we're far, far, far from that yet in our present day world, but there are echoes of that in our present day world, that if you pushed it like to the extreme, I could see this kind of thing actually happening, and that's one reason I really enjoyed the film too. I just wanted to mention.
That's pretty. Yeah, that's a good way of describing it.
Yeah, totally.
So we need to try to come up. What are we supposed to be doing? Help me out here, guys. I've lost track because we've been off the past couple of weeks. But for our next horror sci-fi stream, I think we're supposed to do a poll. Am I right? Let people vote.
Sure. Let's just do the poll next week.
Okay, so we'll come up with 4 titles, and I'll let you guys vote. And I promise we will do a poll this time.
Okay. It looks like... Oh, sorry, Bob. It looks like RRTNZ says, it's been a while. I think the biggest changes are that in the manga, Akira himself is a character, and Tetsuo's reign over Neo Tokyo is more prolonged. The ending is similar, but more drawn out. So that's fascinating, because we only get to see in the very end when Kaneda is basically having visions of what happened. We only get to see pictures and stills. Well, not stills so much, but like Akira never has any dialogue. He never talks to anyone. It's always done through just his facial expressions and body expressions. So that's really interesting that we get to see that. And it would be really interesting to see, because we only get maybe 20 minutes of Tetsuo reigning over Neo Tokyo, and it would be really interesting to just see how much more it is. So that's really cool. Thank you, RRTNZ, for taking the time to let us know that.
Yeah, thank you. Appreciate that. Sometimes it's difficult to find somebody who has seen the book or the original material and also the movie, and to be able to give us a concise description like that in comparison between the two. So yeah, we very much appreciate that.
Yeah. All right. Is there anything else, or should we call her quits at just under 2 hours?
Is there anything anybody would like to add?
No, I'm good.
I'm good. I'm good.
Okay,
I think
well,
I'm good as well.
I know we all caught up. I guess we're caught up on the chat then, right?
Yep.
I think so. Thank you, everyone, again for being here for my birthday pick. So I appreciate that. Thank you so much. Thank you all. It means a lot.
Now, what day is your actual birthday?
The 18th.
2 days.
So 2
from
more
now.
days.
Got it.
Yeah.
All right. Well, happy birthday, birthday boy.
Yeah.
Thanks, buddy.
So, Nemesis, what do you got going on in your channel?
Oh, thank you, Gorilla. I appreciate that. We all completely forgot to spout our stuff off. So on my channel, I am doing Skullgirls Mobile as of late. Come Thursday, I shall be making a video doing a massive relic opening. So fingers crossed I get my shiny purd. If not, I mean, I won't be too upset. But I mean, come on, I'd love a shiny perfect dark universe. That would be. Thank you. And so, yeah, definitely check that out. And if you're into Yu-Gi-Oh! Duel Links, I've done a little bit of that as of late. The Kaiba Cup is going on. I don't stand a chance, but I'm still going to try and upload some videos about it. Definitely check me out over there and subscribe if you haven't. Thank you so much to everyone who's been here today on the panel, in the chat, in the future. You are all amazing. I really appreciate you being here. Thank you so much.
All right. Yeah. Likewise, I say the same thing. Thank you, everybody. Thank you for spending time with us. You guys are wonderful. I really appreciate it, and I appreciate your patience. And I especially say I appreciate to all my fellow co-panelists for coming, keeping us entertained. And Gorilla, thank you for helping me once again with the chat. You did a great job.
Yeah, no problem.
Okay. And with that, everybody, if you work tomorrow, drive safe, stay warm. Yes, Gorilla?
Oh, I was going to say, Thursday we got Chris Talk with Masters of Disguise there. Make sure to come check that out. That should be a lot of fun.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
right.
definitely check it out.
And Gorilla also makes some hilarious, amazing shorts that you guys really need to check out. You're doing yourself an in-service if you don't. So, yes.
Yeah.
And of course, I'm getting a train now again.
Yeah.
But
I'll make sure to upload my thing that I sent to Jill for y'all to enjoy.
I appreciate it. Yeah, and if you can, if Gorilla, if you can't make it tomorrow for Gilead's Island, that's totally fine. We should be having a regular Rumblings from the Lab on Saturday. So I hope you guys can join us for that. And then after that, we'll have our back on Monday for our classic Lost in Space from season 2. Okay, I think that's all. Anything you guys want to add that you can think of that I may have forgotten?
Not much. I just uploaded another Power Pop stream last weekend, so anybody who wants to check out my channel, that'd be cool.
Okay. Anything you want to say, Nemesis, about your channel, or did you already do that?
I'm just going over. It's all good, buddy. I'm just going over everyone. Thank you to Lemon Pie and to Hakeem, to RRT and Zed, Cody Guy, Suzanne Eckstein, Edge of Time, LDG, hashtag Free the Net, PvP, Gorilla. Thank you all. Daniel's Hot Topics, thank you all for being here. You all rock. And anyone in the future, thank you so much.
Yeah, you guys are beautiful. If you enjoyed it, hit the like button. And if you haven't done so, maybe consider hitting the subscribe for my channel and set your alerts to on so that you can see some more of our amazing content as it comes out. So with that, drive safe, everybody, and stay warm, and peace out.